We are together. We should disagree, but once we arrive at a decision, even if we individually do not agree with that decision, we back it 100%. And that really is the secret of our success. It is very challenging to have effective, credible conversation with the younger generation unless you are on top of your game.
And for the first time, I told him I feel like giving up finally. And when he said back to me that, Meher, you are the backbone of the company. You have never said that to me. And I will not let you give up because that's not why we are here.
Both of them were extremely ambitious and both of them had no money. If we do believe that we no longer can keep up, then it's time to step up.
Hello and welcome to the Come Alive podcast. I'm super excited to be here today with the multifaceted leader, Navin Valrani, Vice Chairman and Managing Director of the Shirawi Group and CEO of Arcadia Education in Dubai. With degrees from Wharton, London Business School, and the University of Pennsylvania's Graduate School of Education, he's not only a business visionary, but also an educator, philanthropist, and lifelong learner. In today's episode, we will dive into moments that shaped him, the values that guide him, and how he's redefining leadership by aligning business success with meaningful impact. A father, a son, a husband, a YPO member. I'm super excited to have Navin today with me. So thank you, Navin, for joining me on this podcast today. I'm super excited to know about your journey and learn from your inspiring story.
Thank you for having me, Meher.
So, of course, everybody knows the Shirawi Group. It's a fantastic group. It's huge, and it's based and built on partnership, on family business. So, tell me a little bit about how it all started and your role in the business.
The Shirawi Group started formally in 1971, where two entrepreneurs, Abdullah Shirawi, our founding chairman, and Meher Mirchandani, our founding senior vice chairman and group managing director, got together. And both at the time were very good friends. They had met in the late 60s, had become the best of friends. Both of them were extremely ambitious, and both of them had no money.
Oh, wow.
And it was, these three things brought them together. And they decided, they both were in the textile market, in the traditional textile market of Dubai in the 60s. And they decided that they wanted to actually leave the textile market. So they began the import of steel and cement into the UAE. And that's how the Shirawi Group started. That was our first company. Our first license was called Shirawi Contracting and Trading Company. And it was from those humble beginnings in Dubai that that led to where the Shirawi Group is today, which is a diversified conglomerate, 30 plus companies, over 12,000 employees, and spread really all over the world. It started from a trading operation from these two men who, for whom really their core value was, I would say, ambition backed by hard work. They were, they both were willing to put in the hours in order to meet their ambition.
That's amazing. And yes, I believe there's no substitute for hard work, like you said. So now it's the second generation taking care. And you did mention the third generation wants to enter very soon as well. So tell me a little bit about who all is involved from the second generation and how do you do it? Like basically, I know when it's a business, it's about alignment. And I have read on the website that it's all about unity and all of you drive the company by values. So I think it'll be great to learn more about the company values and how you drive the business.
So Mr. Abdullah Shirawi's four sons are in the business, and my father's three sons, including myself. There's seven of us, and we manage different parts of the group. When the founders were active, we all reported into the founders. And now that they've passed on the mantle to the second generation, Mr. Muhammad Al-Shirawi is the chairman, and I am the group MD. And we have a very distributive model of management. It almost sounds odd in the world of capitalism, where you have this sort of a little bit more of a socialist model of leadership. But in essence, every second generation member is a CEO who sits on the board and manages one or more companies in a given vertical or verticals. And really what binds us together is this idea that we are together. We should disagree. But once we arrive at a decision, even if we individually do not agree with that decision, we back it 100%. And
Love
that
it.
really is the secret of our success, that we remain committed to whatever decision we make going forward, whether we're on board or not. Once we have agreed as a board on a particular investment, on a particular way forward, on a strategic path, we say, you know what, we will back this 150%. And really, that's it's a model that you don't learn at university.
So where did you learn it?
It's been passed down from our founders. This idea that the power of one, the power in unity, and while the more capitalist model suggests that greed is the driver for most ventures, where you make a certain investment and you expect a return, and that is extremely important. But at the same time, that is important on an organization level. But when you go down to an individual shareholder level in a family business, if that takes priority over unity, then you are heading towards a path of destruction. So when we sit together, we think as a collective unit and not as individual members. I often tell my peers on the board that we have a fiduciary responsibility towards the organization. When we sit on that table as board members, we have to think of the group, not of us as individuals. And I think really it's that philosophy of togetherness, of my father says, the power of one, that really is driving us forward.
That's amazing, and I love it. And I'm such a big believer of this. Truly, I do believe, I say the same thing in my company, that together we are stronger. And it's always about being together, understanding each other, and backing everyone, all of us up. And the decision, like you said, I love it, that once a decision is made, we all have to agree to it and back it up with everything we've got, kind of. So where did you learn this is my next question. I know you've done a lot of education outside of, I want to say after you have been in the business, you've done a lot of education, and you do hold a doctorate degree as well. So how did all this education help you as a leader?
So, my education journey is a long one. I'm often teased as the boy who never left school, because I've pretty much been studying for most of my life. I've been a student, formally a student, for a large part of my life. And in that journey, I've also had the good fortune of being a teacher. A teacher in a classroom context, where I've taught kids as young as 5 to as old as 18. And in that experience, what I've learned is that every leader is a teacher. Every effective leader is actually a good teacher. Wonderful. And you know how they often say that more entrepreneurs should come into the classroom to share their experiences. And that is completely true. But also more teachers need to enter the world of entrepreneurship, or I would say more so leadership. Because, what does it take to make a good teacher? It takes the ability to understand every student's individual journey. And if you equate that to leadership, what does it take to make a good leader? To be able to understand the journey of your direct reports. What motivates them? What drives them? What are their personal contexts, right? If they haven't met a particular standard, what's really going on in their life that has prompted them not to achieve their potential? It's the same in the classroom, and it's the same in an organization. So it's about connecting with your direct reports, connecting with your students, and understanding their journeys. And once you do, and once you give them the tools to succeed, you then almost need to step back and watch with pride as they move on with in their respective lives. So really, my education journey has helped me in leadership more than anything else, just in terms of allowing me to empathize with my leadership team.
I love it. And as a leadership coach, I've been on a leadership coach journey for a long time now, about 4 or 5 years. And that's exactly what they teach us. What you said, it's about understanding the limitations of your reportee or of your coachee and guiding them with the tools to be able to unlock their power. Because all of us are born resourceful and whole. So we have it in us. But if somebody can help you unlock your power and understand yourself, your limiting beliefs, and help you fly and grow, that's the most beautiful thing. And I guess you're doing this with your students and your team members. How wonderful is that? That's just beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being this person and this leader.
You're welcome.
So tell me a little bit about being ahead of time. You do talk about that as well, and it's on the website that you've always led with the mindset of being ahead of time. So what does this truly mean to you?
So being ahead of time, firstly as an organization, but also as an individual, is absolutely critical for success. The world, and at the risk of sounding cliche, the world is changing at a tremendous pace. In the last year or two, we've had the good fortune of experiencing the world of LLMs and what they bring to the table. And, the workplace is set to change in ways that I don't believe any of us can imagine. The tools today at our fingertips are more powerful than what was even 5 years ago, possibly a month or two worth of work. So firstly, as an organization, it's important we empower and we train and we invest in our people to be up to date with what's going on, to be able to take perspectives where they understand the customer experience, where they understand every stakeholder's experience as they make their decisions. As an individual, it is very challenging to have an effective, credible conversation with the younger generation unless you are on top of your game. And this starts with really investing in yourself.
Absolutely.
And this could be in terms of formal qualifications, but also informally. Today, none of us really have any excuse not to be learning.
Absolutely.
It is so pervasive. It is available literally at your fingertips all the time. Whether you're doing a course on Coursera, you're doing an executive education program, whether at Harvard or whether online, it's all available now. You can learn anything.
Yes.
And it is up to us now as leaders to be able to take advantage of that, to be committed to that. So interesting enough, a year and a half ago, we introduced learning as one of our core values in the organization, because I'm of the belief that the organizations that learn most effectively are the ones that are going to succeed going forward. And that's what's going to keep us ahead of time, always moving ahead. So as an organization, we have to move the entire organization, but as individuals, we don't even deserve a seat on the table if we're not able to carry out the conversations that the younger generation is looking for.
Yeah, truly, I agree. The world is moving at such a fast pace that if we cannot match up to them, we'll probably be irrelevant, like they say.
Yes.
And
And there's nothing wrong with being irrelevant. Please don't get me wrong, right? Where I think as leaders, if we do believe that we no longer can keep up, then it's time to step back.
correct.
Then we have a duty to our organizations to say, look, it's time to hang up the boots. I can't keep up.
But that also takes courage, right? Because ego comes in.
Ego comes in, and ego is an interesting one. There's so many great things to do in this world, and unfortunately, so many of us tie our identities to our work.
Yes.
If you go a step further, there are many people out there who tie their identities to money. So the only purpose of work is to make money.
Correct.
And when you're in that cycle, you are in essence spiraling towards your own ego. And it's important to be able to step out and say, what is the true purpose of the organization that I've created? And what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? I often cite Pete Sampras, the famous tennis player. Most people of today's generation probably haven't heard of him because that's the type of guy he was. Now, I remember Pete Sampras was a regular champion at Wimbledon. He was almost in his prime. You couldn't beat the guy. And he retired at his peak. And I always wondered why somebody would retire at the top. And I thought Pete Sampras gave an important lesson to all of us, that when it's time to go, the best time to go is when you're at your top. Not when you're playing for a team and you're dropped because you're not good enough anymore. That's not the last thing you want to be remembered by.
Absolutely.
So I think it's, again, as leaders, we need to understand when we're peaking and when it's time to step back and say, you know what, I've done my bit.
Yeah, but
And
that
now-
needs a lot of awareness, I believe. Evolution, awareness. Because as a leadership coach and as a leader, I see so many people, I meet so many people, and it's very few who speak like that, who are aware and understand that when is the time to exit or when is the time to start doing something else, or a second innings, like they call it.
Yeah. Entrepreneurs and leaders, we take life very, very seriously. I think that, sort of the first thing is, for me, we need to learn to relax, right? Life doesn't have to be serious all the time. We also don't need to get it right all the time. We don't need to feel judged all the time.
Yeah.
We've done our bit. We've created something special. The need to do more and more and more as an individual at some point needs to go to the need to do less and less and less. And this pivot should happen in every leader's life. And I think the world has defined it as retirement. I think that's a very strong word. The world has even, there are many countries who've put an age to it, 65 or 70 or 80 or 75, right? These nice round numbers. But the fact is, in your head and heart when it's time. I don't think you need to put a number to it. You could be very young. You could be, when I say young, you could be in your 50s. You could be in your 60s. You could be in your 70s. But when it's time. And that's when you have to actively make a plan to say, now it's time for me to go into subtraction mode.
That's beautiful. And we definitely need more leaders like you, like I mentioned in the start. That's really beautiful to be having that self-awareness that when is the time to go into subtraction mode. That's really, really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So managing multiple companies, multiple diverse verticals, what is maybe one or two of the biggest challenges you may have faced in your journey, and how did you overcome it?
So, there's obviously been many, many challenges. And I like to frame them in exactly the way you have. I call them challenges. They often show up as a problem. And to me, there's really no such thing as a problem. Life is about challenges and being able to meet them. The biggest challenges as a leader for me came sort of in my early part of my career, were in my 20s. Came in the form of health.
Oh,
And it wasn't anything overly serious, but at the same time, it meant I was out of action for 8 weeks. I had to have a surgery, and it led on to other complications. And when your health is not right, nothing is right.
Yes.
So really, the ability to get into the right mindset is important, and you do that by maintaining good health. So how do you take care of yourself? And if you're able to take care of yourself physically, you end up taking care of yourself mentally, and you end up putting yourself in the best shape to tackle challenges. And there'll be several challenges.
Absolutely.
But the ability to firstly, again, take care of yourself allows you to meet them. The second is creating a support system. Just this morning or this afternoon, I was telling a student that there's no such thing as a self-made person. We all need help.
Absolutely.
Right?
Very true.
Even those entrepreneurs who go, those blazing entrepreneurs who think they've done it all on their own, they haven't.
100%.
Each and every one of us needs help. And in order to get the help, you need to first create a support system, but that's not enough. You need to have the ability to ask for help. And that ability comes with 3 simple words: I don't know. And leaders till today find it so difficult to say those words.
Yeah, absolutely. And they
Like
feel that they're always right. They need to be right. I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, it's okay not to know.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
It's okay to say, "Oh gosh, right? It's so silly of me. I know that I messed up."
Absolutely.
And I think the way the incoming generation, they're looking for their leaders to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Right? They're looking for their leaders to be able to say, I'm having a really bad day. We went through COVID, right? Lockdowns. It was tough. There's no leader in the world who can sit here honestly and say that wasn't a difficult time.
Absolutely.
You have, in this context that we're in here, we have an expat population that couldn't go back home. There were men and women who couldn't access their families, couldn't access their kids, who couldn't see their parents. There were some who were unfortunate enough to have a death in the family and couldn't go back for the funeral. There were all sorts of stories. There were tears everywhere. As a leader, did I cry? Of course I cried. And did I have a support system that I could lean back on? I did have one on a personal level. But did I have one on an organization level? No. Because at that time, in the lead up to COVID, leaders were supposed to be strong.
Yeah.
Right? And we needed to demonstrate strength, thinking that that's what our teams were looking for. But what they were actually looking for was vulnerability. That is it normal to feel the way I'm feeling? That if Navin is feeling this way, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to feel this way. And I think being the ability to create the support system and then be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know, please help me. And I think really this is what has allowed me to overcome my challenges, starting with health, but there were organizational challenges. We saw the 2009 crisis. And obviously the world was shaken. We were no exception. But the ability to roll up your sleeves and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to face this head on.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's what really has allowed me to overcome these challenges.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. And to me, vulnerability is a strength. And I've always been transparent and vulnerable as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, a recent incident made me feel successful because of my vulnerability. So I was having a conversation with my CFO, and there was a situation in my life and in the business that was very, very pressing. And for the first time, I told him I feel like giving up finally. And when he said back to me that, Meher, you are the backbone of the company, you have never said that to me. And I will not let you give up because that's not why we are here.
Yeah.
That was success to me, that I have built a team that understands who I am and that understands my values, and they want to support me in these times of how I am feeling. So I've always been, because as a leadership coach also, I believe that the person at home, the person on your soul level, and the leader is supposed to be one. But I guess previous leadership taught us to be the strong person at work and be someone else at home. I mean, we are okay to be softer with our children, with our parents, with our wife or our spouses. But at work, we were supposed to be the strong person who would never show their vulnerability. But as soon as I joined the family business and I did a little bit of learning and shifting of mindset, I understood that you're supposed to be one. You're supposed to be aligned, soul, body, mind, heart. So that, thank you for sharing that. That's a really great validation on how it's important to be vulnerable and be authentic and just lead with your heart and be who you are meant to be, rather than covering up and masking it up with different sort of things you've taken on from other people rather than being yourself. So that's really, really amazing, I want to say.
Thank you.
So working in a legacy business again comes with, I'm sure, several challenges. How do you align your team members, your stakeholders? Is there one thing you do, or is there something you can share with the listeners that help you align with your stakeholders and your shareholders and your team?
So, I mentioned the power of one and the idea of a distributive leadership, the idea that unity trumps everything else. So sticking to that. Also, on an individual level, how does one get into that mindset? How did I get into that mindset
Yes, that's a great.
of keeping people together? It's important, if you've experienced struggle of any sort, it's important to keep that close to your heart and always go back to it when you are facing a challenge and trying to pick yourself up. Maintaining unity is critical to the survival of the Shirawi Group. And it is my North Star. Because I have seen in my lifetime families, businesses get destroyed when the unity is not there. If you are an individual who has had the good fortune of not really facing much struggle in his or her life, I would then suggest you think of someone, find someone, either in your family context or close enough to you, who has experienced struggle and really understand their struggle, so that whenever you are faced with a challenge, you think of that person and you think about what they've been through and how they picked themselves up or did not pick themselves up. And you swear to yourself that you won't let yourself go down that path. You will try your 100% best to make sure that you go back to work, you pick yourself up, and you make it happen. Because leadership is about somehow, somewhere finding that inner strength. You found it from a team member. And it's great when you have a team member who just by saying one sentence can motivate you, right? That's magic.
Absolutely.
That's what we look for.
Absolutely.
And as leaders, as I said, we can't do it alone. So we need to be able to connect either in the present or in the past to people, individuals, stories that keep us going. So I think for me, if there ever is a situation where I feel the unity is being compromised, I deal with that head on. I don't sweep it under the rug. I say, you know what? it is our strength is our unity, and it's time for me to get involved and put on the teacher hat and make sure that no one gets bullied and the class remains together.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And then that might obviously include a lot of loving confrontation. I mean, it's always, and it's also sometimes, I want to say, again, authentic leadership, right? You would have to put yourself to correct things. So, how do you do that?
So confrontation is an interesting word. I believe its foundations come from confronting or taking things on head on. I have a very different style. I ask questions and I listen very carefully because in listening, and when I say listening, it's listening, observing. There could be a sentence that really gives you the clue to solving the challenge at hand. A good teacher is not a prescriptive teacher. It's not a teacher who stands in front of the class and delivers a lesson, expects students to listen and then go home and figure it out. A good teacher is one who is able to understand the comprehension level of their students by asking questions. Right? And that's really what I do. But so understand the whys. We spoke about the whys.
Yes.
And understand the whys. Like, why do you feel this way? Is there something going on in your life that maybe I should know about? What is it that you're going to achieve by taking this path? Please enlighten me, because I might be missing something. And really, it's that philosophy of combining the love and value of unity with the teacher's hat that really brings it together for me.
And also a lot of empathy and compassion, right? When you ask somebody that what's really bothering you or why would you not like to take the path, it's all about compassion and empathy.
Yeah.
And yeah,
100%.
I'm a big believer of this.
Yeah.
Like, I have empathy and compassion as one of my values in our company, along with love, which I believe is needed in all kind of relationship management, which is either with the stakeholders or the shareholders or the family members.
Very true.
Yeah, so that's really beautiful again, and very powerful. I love it. Like, because when you don't get what you want, sometimes you go into the mode of either being a victim or being offended or getting defensive. Like, there are so many things which happen in someone when you don't get what you want, either at the board table or in a family business. But how not to do that is what I just learned with your conversation. How to try to help the other person see more of what that person truly wants and be able to solve kind of the...
Yeah. And, just taking from one of the examples you just cited, which is, hearing a no in the boardroom and how do you feel about this? For me, I've always tried my very best not to attach myself to the decision that I'm about to receive, whether a yes or a no. I attach myself to the process. So in arriving to the decision, did we follow the right process? And it's that process that I attach myself to. So as long as we did, I'm happy with whatever decision comes forward.
I think that really needs a lot of courage and awareness, frankly speaking. And I know that most of your brothers are also in YPO.
Yes, both my brothers are in YPO. One of my partners is in YPO. It's...
So I think that's what leads the culture, right? Because when you are in such an organization, then that also teaches you how to be more open-minded, have more tolerance, have more, focus on the culture and the growth and unity. How has your journey in YPO been? And what has it given you?
I joined YPO Emirates in 2007, a long, long time ago,
Wow.
17, 18 years ago. There was something that was said to me in the early days of YPO, that it is lonely at the top. And you need a support system that YPO gives you in many, many formats, including Forum, that will allow you to fall back on a group of like-minded individuals who understand your journey. And really, YPO provides that. I've been in forums since the last 17 years. We just completed our forum retreat literally yesterday. And, I think, forum has given me more than I could have ever hoped for. It's given me my personal board of directors. YPO as an organization is, by definition, an organization that's made up of ambitious individuals. And I've always said ambition is contagious.
Yes.
When you're in the same room as people who are ambitious, it rubs off. And that's really what YPO brings to the table in whatever context, whether you go to a seminar, a GLC, a forum. It's that ambition that runs through the organization.
I agree.
From an individual level to a community level that keeps you going.
Absolutely. It shows you what is possible. And I think it really helps us broaden our horizon.
Yeah.
And I was in the first part of my journey as a leader. I was in EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, and then I joined YPO.
What was that?
Yes. Oh. So yeah, I think the success of our business is based on all the values that they taught us and all the very learnings and teachings that I guess I took on from those organizations. So that's so true. And ambitious is contagious for sure. I totally agree. And you can think bigger. You can think much more wider, deeper when you are with like-minded people. And having said that, learning has been part of your journey, and you advocate learning everywhere in your company. And you have also now you are the CEO of Arcadia Schools. So tell me a little bit about that venture.
So the Shirawi Group got into education in 2016 on the back of my father's ambition that he wanted to sign off with a project that gave back to the city of Dubai. And hence the name Arcadia was created, which is a land in Greece that has historically stood for its simplicity and its happiness. So the name came from there. And, we started with very humble beginnings. 70 students on the first day, 77 in our first year. And today we have 2 schools and we have over 3,000 students. And that for us has been a tremendous journey. Just within 8 to 9 years, we've grown it several times. And of course, a large part of that credit must go to the city of Dubai and the policies of the rulers who have turbocharged this economy and have made it the city of choice in the world. So it's been a great journey in terms of growth. But really where it's changed my life is that it's allowed me to think like a teacher. It's allowed me to be around children and see our tomorrow. And when you see it firsthand, when you see the impact you're making firsthand, there's nothing more special in life to be able to see the difference you make in the life of a student. I had a student the other day message me after getting their college acceptance and said, she said, I don't even know where to start. I wouldn't be where I am without you. And you will continue to inspire me for the rest of her life. And, it's those type of words that at my age that keep you going.
So is this your big why?
Yes. So my big why now is to, number one, maintain unity in the group. And I believe I'm, I will do, I don't know if I'm the best at it, but I will do my best to achieve that objective. And number two is to make a difference in the lives of those that are going to manage and lead our tomorrow. And whether that's through inspiring them or through to actually rolling up my sleeves and really sitting down and helping them, I will do whatever it takes to ensure these 2 objectives are met.
So what is the role you play at Arcadia School?
So I'm the CEO of Arcadia Education. So obviously the overall strategy of the schools is under my purview. I ensure the schools are financially sustainable. That's important. But beyond that is that, have we delivered on our promises, our pedagogical promises? So are students receiving the education that they should receive, and is it allowing them to exceed their potential? And these are all measurable statements. It's not just
Yes.
something that I'm saying that looks good, or that sounds good. These are all measurable statements. So enabling students through a school platform to succeed, not only in school but beyond school and in life, is really my role. So.
And do you also teach like a master's, an MBA, or
Yeah,
how does
so
that work?
I created in 2016, 17, I created the junior MBA program, which I taught in the early years. Now I teach the teachers to teach the program.
Oh, amazing.
So Arcadia offers this from year 3 onwards. We are known in Dubai as the School of Entrepreneurship, which is that if you want to instill the entrepreneur's mindset in your student, and this is not necessarily wanting your child to become an entrepreneur, it's developing that mindset. Arcadia has become the school of choice because we are not only talking the talk, we're walking the walk. Just this morning, our junior MBA finalists, we have a competition once a year across our schools, and they present it to the leadership, and Dubai Cares. And the critical lesson of that curriculum is that if you wish to be an entrepreneur, don't do it for the money.
Love it.
This is not a course about making money. This is a course about creating impact through private enterprise. If money is your objective, you're in the wrong place. Our objective is the recognition, the course's objective is the recognition that private enterprise can and should make a difference in our society.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely.
And money is important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yes.
trying to minimize the importance of money. Money is important for the business to be financially sustainable, for it to give a return to investors, who in turn can then continue to invest in entrepreneurs who make an impact.
Yes, absolutely. But I feel most of my life I felt money is a byproduct. Money is always a byproduct of who you are becoming in the journey and how much impact you can create. So when I joined the family business, I told my father about my plans that, I want to do this and I want to do this, and then $1 billion dirhams and then $1 billion. And he's like, what are you going to do with all this money? I was like, I will create impact and I will link my profitability to actually education as well. So we've tied up with a school in India, and I said that to him. The number of millions we will have, those many children we will impact. And then he was like, okay. And because I said it, and I wanted to make sure that I do that. And that's like 12 years ago when I joined the family business. And doing that is so much more satisfying than anything else in life. Like being able to create impact is what gives me good sleep at night. And I believe that as a leader, I never want to take on any sleeping pills or any kind of aids or anything in life. I mean, that would be failure for me. If I can make sure every single day is success by education, educating myself, educating others, like you rightly said, and creating impact, that is success.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to know that that you're teaching the next generation this, and it's really, really beautiful and such a noble cause.
Thank you.
Such a noble cause.
Thank you.
So what's the legacy you would like to leave?
On a personal level, professional level, or both?
Both.
So when you ask me that question, the first thing that comes to my mind is I'd like to be known as a good dad, a good husband, a good son, a good sibling, and a good partner. And then following that, a good leader, someone who cared, who went out of his way to even make the smallest difference in the lives of people that I've touched. And that's important to me. I wouldn't want to be remembered as a rich man or a wealthy man. I'd rather be remembered as a kind man, a man who was always there to support those that he cared for. That's the legacy that I'm after.
That's beautiful. And wishing you all the best on
Thank you.
that. More power to you to creating impact and
Thank
leading
you.
a beautiful life.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Meher.
for being on the show again.
Thank you. Thank you, Meher.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Come Alive podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on whichever platform you're hearing it. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments. And until next time, see you soon.